Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show of people. Belize our hopes for to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will feel happen like God blue skies. I love it make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling? It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show of people. Belize our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will feel happen under God blue skies. I love it that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB.
morning, Belize. Welcome to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for today, Tuesday, 12th November 2024. Wherever you are, we hope that your morning is getting off to a beautiful start, and we are very happy that you are getting it started here with us live, Prem Radio, XTV, and whether it is you're getting us via our apps as well or social media streams, simulcast coverage. It's great having you on board this morning. Mose, Hyde in the house hosting, and you know our primary purpose, of course, is to engage in conversation. Before we get there, we have to just start with a slow trot. We got to stretch out, warm up, you know how we work this thing. So we want to welcome you all. Of course, we hope that you have gotten up this morning with your health in great form, your energy peaking, your vibrations positive, and your space enough. Because we want you to flex with we. Listen, watch, and as well, more importantly, join us and engage. Before we do all of that, we got to find out what the weather looks like. We got your weather forecast from the National Met Service. We've got a little bit of news for you. Find out what's making news this morning. First thing though, we get to know what the weather looks like this morning. And for that, we turn to forecaster Francisco Wellington to line us up with the weather forecast.
Good morning. Generally fair conditions will support sunny skies with a few cloudy spells today and cloudy skies at times tonight. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated except for slightly more over inland areas this afternoon and southern areas tonight. Isolated showers or thunderstorms will continue around the country Wednesday, increasing along the coast and over southern areas Wednesday night. Winds today along the coast and over the open seas will be light and variable, and seas will be slight. High tides will occur at 7 o'clock this morning and 7:05 tonight. Low tides follow at 1:04 this afternoon and 1:50 tomorrow morning. Temperatures this afternoon will peak at 80 Fahrenheit up in the Maya Mountains, 88 along the coast, and 92 inland. The moon will rise at 2:50 this afternoon and sunset at 5:17 this evening. In the sargassum forecast, impacts, if any, from sargassum will continue to be minimal as observations show little to no sargassum over our area. In the tropical weather outlook, a tropical wave over the central Caribbean Sea is producing an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms and has a low chance of development over the next 48 hours. Conditions appear conducive for further development as the system moves westward into the western Caribbean Sea. The National Meteorological Service will continue to monitor this system closely. That's the latest from the Belize Weather Bureau. Do have a pleasant day.
First private radio in Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
The Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard, recently back from travel abroad, had not yet been apprised of the Prime Minister's discussion with the NTUCB by Monday when we caught up with him. He was therefore unaware that there had been an agreement that the proposed amendment regarding union representation on the KHMHA board introduced at the last House meeting will no longer be pursued. He therefore discussed some of the issues he says they were having with the union representative on the board.
There's many reasons why, and I thank you for the opportunity to talk about this, but there's many reasons why we felt at the ministry that we were to synchronize, but basically synchronize. If you look at other boards, most of the union members that sits on a board are representative of the NTUCB. If I'm not mistaken, there's one board. I think it's Social Security. I'm not sure. I don't want to misquote myself, but I think there's a union that represents the workers of the Social Security, if I'm not mistaken. But they don't sit. Yeah, they don't sit as a member of the board because you need. They are. Remember, the KHMH union represents the workers. And they are, right now, they have been tasked, in fact, the union representative who sits on the board, and I will not go through my own personal perception and views of Mr. Beard. That's outside of this. Has been given umpteen times to come up with a CBA that will best approach the issues that the workers and the employees of KHMH that falls under the union have been clamoring for. We have not gotten at a single document to propose to the board.
You mean an updated one, Minister?
Yes, an updated CBA, because they were going to they were to present a collective bargaining agreement that will best address many issues that they have raised over the years.
But have you established that it's the doing only of the president, because a union is not just its president?
Well, this is where we have a problem. I cannot speak for the membership. The union who sat on the board was given time off on a regular basis. Remember, he's an employee of the KHMH. He was given time off. I think it's 2 days of a week for over the past 3 years to come up with something, and has not done so. Yet, when there's deliberations at the board level and decisions are made at the board level that will better enhance the work at the KHMH, sometimes there is a lot of issues with the member. It's not necessarily the member, but conflicts that the board makes decision and then he goes and says something else. It's not a healthy relationship.
The minister has since confirmed that 2 names have been suggested by the union to replace KHMHA Workers Union President Andrew Baird on the board. The Ministry of Health and Wellness embarked on the drafting of new legislation that will replace the Food and Drug Registration, Licensing and Inspection regulations. This law has to do with pharmaceuticals and their importation. The ministry says the new legislation is being designed to meet the current needs in this sector and to ensure the safety and efficacy of medicine available to Belizeans. Some, however, are concerned that the new regulations will actually remove safeguards regarding the quality of medication. We put this to the Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard.
I don't think so. I think that now that you have seen that the ministry, when we created the Drug Inspectorate unit, in fact, we brought in a Chief Drug Inspectorate. Unfortunately, she has left to the private sector. However, we have somebody else who has returned from her degree, and I think we are going to be promoting that individual into that post.
But is that a senior person or just coming out of university?
No. This is a person who was at the ministry, went to do study leave, coming back, had been working for years as a drug inspector. She was already a drug inspector, has the experience, has the capacity, and now comes back with the necessary degree to ensure that she could fit that capacity. She will act in that capacity. Remember, we cannot make appointments. It's the public service who has to make the appointment. And so, but my point is that since I took over this ministry, in fact, since this government, I would say that, because even under the previous minister, there was steps that were being done to enhance this type of issue. You have seen where our drug inspectorate unit, our inspectors have been out doing their work. If it was not because of them, we would not have been able to pick up on many of these issues that we've seen. We have won cases where we have seen contraband medications coming in, where we have seized, and we work very closely with the Customs and Police Department, and that just proves that work has been going on by that unit. We are serious when it comes to ensuring that the pharmaceuticals and medications that are coming into this country is of standard, and that's one of the reasons why our people go out and do constant investigations, constant review of facilities across the country, private and public, and we need to ensure that this is safety of our people. So to say that this amendment to the Drug Act that we are proposing is going to allow these pharmaceutical companies to do the same thing or more, that is not so. We're trying to strengthen it. We are trying to bring in more penalties to ensure that we do not see the repeat of these type of things. So
we have since confirmed that the staff member referenced by the minister had only been a drug inspector for less than 5 years before leaving to study and is from a stalwart PUP family. The minister explained that they are reviewing the bill before it goes to the National Assembly. In recent years, there have been a few pharmacists who have graduated from the University of Belize and have immediately opened private pharmacies. These pharmacists may have obtained their degrees and their license, but should they not first obtain years of experience to ensure they have supervision of a seasoned pharmacist? The Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard, defended the practice, declaring that a pharmacist is a pharmacist based on their education, regardless of experience level.
But a pharmacist is a pharmacist. You study to become a pharmacist. You can't tell somebody who is you. For example, you come out of you do an associate or a business master's in a business administration, and you want to do your business. Not because you don't have the experience. You have studied to run a pharmacy. You have studied what governs them is the rules that are set out within the country, the policies in terms of it. So I don't see that as an issue. I think we must give people opportunity to become young entrepreneurs. We must encourage small businesses.
Around 1 a.m. on Sunday in San Pedro and Bergisky, Eric Williams was driving his motorcycle when he lost control and crashed into a lamppost. Williams was rushed for medical attention but succumbed to his injuries. ACP Gilberto Romero shared more on Monday.
On Sunday, the 10th day of November 2024, there was a fatal road traffic accident in San Pedro. Police visited an area around 1 a.m. where they saw a motorcycle with damages. Also, they saw the body of a male person. The person was taken to the hospital for treatment, where he succumbed to his injuries. He was identified as Eric Williams of San Pedro. Investigation revealed that he was riding his motorcycle when he crashed into a lamppost. Thereafter, he was taken and succumbed to his injuries.
And that ends our morning news inside the WUB Belize Morning Vibes. We take a small break now. And when we come back on the other side, it's time to hear from you. It's the way it works. This is Belize Morning Vibes live on Creme Radio and on XTV. We'll be right back.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
All right, welcome back. Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. Tuesday morning, the 12th of November 2024. And always a pleasure to be able to have the health, strength to be here. We give thanks always to have you here. And we hope that you are in great form yourself. We've completed the preliminaries. That means we can get down to the business of the conversation. That's our purpose. And what's required of you, not much. A little bit of your time, of course. A phone call or two, that works. It's great. That's the number one ingredient that we have from here until 9. And to call, we've got the number at 280-5848. Krem, good morning, WUB. Good morning. Hello. Hello. All right. I think we're all working here. WUB, good morning.
Morning. Okay. Honorable member, Mr. Mose, Hyde.
Morning.
Good to hear you, sir.
What's going on?
More or less, I should say. Yeah, I'd like to speak on immigration and Trump.
Okay, sir.
One of the main reasons Kamala lost is because she was not anti-immigration enough like Trump. Many countries are pushing back against immigrants. In Belize, immigrants are taking over jobs and land and buying up all the land. Belizeans are finding it difficult to get land and jobs. Many of those who are prevented from going to the States will divert to Belize. Solution: most countries develop their economics and practice 2 or 3 child policy. Free birth control must be provided to prevent abortions. That's what I would like to say today.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that.
All right, sir.
All right. The telephone number, excuse me, is 280-5848. That's the direct line for you to get into the conversation. And we want, of course, share your thoughts and views. And that's the way it works, just like that, on this Tuesday morning. So, what I will engage in right now, as we have a call coming in, of course, we are reminded by yesterday's sitting of the Senate, where we see a little bit of, it's always good when the Senate is able to at least create some kind of speed bump or checkpoint for a decision that has been made coming out of the executive. It's passed in the one layer of the legislative in the House. The Senate acts as a kind of a checkpoint, and we don't have, in my view, a properly formed Senate, but occasionally it's able to do certain things. It's only, you know, I imagine that this Senate is an invention of ours. I don't know, I've not read or anybody has ever explained to me that there is a version of a Senate somewhere that looks like this, where you have people that, you know, come out of various sectors, and each sector decides how they will put a person into the Senate. And that is seems to me, until somebody provides me with information that, you know, says that no, that's not the way it is. You have other countries that have something similar to this. Until I get that, this seems like a made-in-Belize version of the Senate. And so in this Senate sitting, there was a kind of a push back on the temporary Auditor General situation, which we have spent some time talking about here on this show. And our position is that it is unacceptable that there is any lack of definitive successor for the Auditor General, because this is the excuse that was given 2 years ago, I think, by the government, if I'm not mistaken with the timeline, where the retiring Auditor General had to be given a new contract because they said, oh, we have to buy some time because you can't just, like, Auditor General is not a long list of people who could potentially be the Auditor General, so, you know, give us a little break. And there was a pushback against that. Particularly the Public Service Union was concerned about that, and they've been very adamant, they've been very proactive, no lacking coming out to the public, and because of that we had the President of the Public Service Union come in and we had a full conversation on this matter. About, well, you know, why would you not have a natural process of succession? Like, this is such an important a department, such an important function, such an important office, for there to be some kind of, well, you know, I don't know how we have find one next Auditor General, and you're not really sure the temporary one, and now we have the Senate saying, no, we can't have one temporary, we can't have a 4-month Auditor General. That no work for we. I didn't listen to the Senate, sitting of the Senate. I just know that that was one of the headlines that emerges out of the sitting of the Senate on the matter of the Auditor General. And so, well, with that, what's next? Heaven knows, right? Like, when it's a cliche, but it's things become a cliche because they're like common sense things, and so people say them all the time. So it's a cliche phrase to say, if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. You know, people always say that insofar as, especially in competition and all that thing, you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And obviously we have failed to prepare to ensure that we have in these important areas, that we have structure and we have continuity and we have people that are able to step in. And so one of the most important offices that is, you know, almost like the tip of the spear to have accountability in governance of resources and management of the people's resources, financial and otherwise, that has, you know, obviously it can be tweaked, it can be perfected, but still there's a robust legislative framework that empowers this office, empowers the office of the Auditor General to look anywhere it wants to. Go in and just sort out, trained, and do all of this. It's obviously has been and remains an office that has some issues, and it doesn't appear that the government has a problem with the issues or has a problem with the fact that there are different internal and obviously structural things going on there, that it's convenient to have an Office of the Auditor General with no clear path for succession. There have been some very significant challenges with the people who serve in that office. We have some of them who have been very discontented with the management of the office, and so there's been a division within that office, and all of that, all manners and struggles and challenges and contention and chaos, and you know, the way how we will address that is just to say, well, we have to continue to look. But in the meantime, let's make the deputy go. So somehow the deputy is not somebody that is good enough to be the head. Which again is, for me, is bizarre. Like I think even in a beauty pageants, like the first runner up is qualified in the event that the winner, for some reason, I mean, anybody that's, believes, love them pageant, anybody that's ever listened to a pageant, that's how they describe the first runner up. Like, you never win, but remember now you're the first runner up, so if anything happened, you. But not so in the Auditor General office. That's not the way it has worked. And we have spent multiple mornings breaking down why this is such an important office, what it does. And it's really like completely unacceptable that is where we are. Like that is such an indictment. Like you do not be on the watch and have a situation exist where it's almost like everything up in the air with this office. Like that is like the equivalent of that is almost like if you have everything up in the air as to, well, who want to be the commissioner of police, or who want to be the head of customs, or like that's, it's even higher than that, or who want to be the DPP. Like there are some very important desks in the public service that serves the public. Because with the public service, it's literally that. We that the public, me, you, everybody out there, whether they listen, whether they watch, and even those who were not bothered with it this morning. We are the public. And these are important offices and desks and positions that serve our interests, and we really like sideline, we really spectate, we really like we not jump in on it, like to say, come on, you not play games with this, you could play, we don't want to play no games at all. But if there's a list of places and positions where there is a should be a zero games policy on behalf of the public, it's this. So that remains a very serious red flag, and there should be a more discernible outcry that this is unacceptable. It can't just be, well, public service union, can't just be a couple of outspoken people here, there, and everywhere, or here or there, that really has an objection to the state of affairs with the Auditor General replacement. There should be like, no, you came before saying you couldn't find somebody. There was a backlash to say, but so you're going back to the same person, good, but you can't now come back again and say that the same state. You can't bring the same excuse twice. Or you shouldn't be able to. So, just wanted to just jump on that a little bit and just put that the Senate is saying we're not there with a temporary situation. That doesn't work. You've had a temporary situation, which was an extended contract given to the now outgoing Auditor General. That was your temporary time to kind of resolve this thing, and you've just completely abdicated duty. Like, you just not do the job. Point blank. That's what has happened here. And it's just, you might say, well, oh man, it's just difficult and all of that, horse dead, cow fat, hear that. But it is a very convenient excuse for somebody to say that they can't figure out who will be the person where watch for their behavior and for their conduct and for their management. You see, that's the problem, right? It's structured in a way that a person will to be held accountable will decide who will be in that seat for hold them accountable, for watch, for look into, for check. So that at one level of That one structural problem where exists, you know, how to fix that? Well, bright minds have to depend on work all the time. But no, even though that's not the best way to do it, we still expect you to do it. Because if you not do it, this suggests to we that this is something where you feel like you could dodge and weave pan. And we as the public can't accept purely your baba and weave pan this. But if we not cry out, if we not raise the voice, if we not say that this not work and this not acceptable, then from feel to themselves, this government will feel to themselves, we don't have to. Nobody, we're not paying no price, nobody's not real about this, just do what we do. Whereas the public have to, as you would have said, put your foot down upon this whole audit general thing here. And we have to put it down firmly that this not work and this not acceptable. That's the way it works. So telephone number is 280-5848 inside the WUB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. On another note, something that we've been following. And again, I feel that we have to question whether or not people understand. So that way, now they come yesterday evening and this morning, over the past couple of mornings, about a week and a half to two, we've really been tracking on issues that deal with our marine resources, in particular as it relates to fisher folk, fisherman and fisherwoman, and the conversation where they go on around that. And we give it that attention there because it's very clear to us that this is a significant matter. Our marine resources are such a significant thing that the nation of Belize has mortgaged it to take itself out of the financial calamity of debt that we were not being able to pay back. So we avoided what you call the whole matter of the consequences of, failing to make our payments. And that was a serious thing. There are consequences for that as one nation, and instead we cut one deal and wrap it up and we call it the Blue Bond. But essentially, we use the marine resources to bail we out the financial calamity that we create. So the people who for generations have been making a livelihood of those resources are the ones who ultimately have to deal with the terms of that settlement agreement with the use of our marine resources. That for them livelihood, that for them access to those resources where make them able for could deal with for their realities. Every day I get up the morning, I deal with media, that's how I try to deal with my financial realities. And everybody out there, most people get up this morning, got one journey within their pan, and my major part of it, that for just try to make sure that they could deal with what they have to deal with. Pay the bills what they have to pay the mortgage what they have to pay, deal with groceries, deal with schooling. We know the A to Z on that. And we say that 3,000 to 4,000 Belizean men and women were For their life, they don't forget up this morning and go to one office. For their life, get up this morning, they don't forget to one business, and I forgot for their life, when they get up this morning, usually very early, they forget from one boat and go to sea. And then they bawl and complain that things not right. Just like when we sugarcane farmers then get up and then cry and then say things not right, we hear them. Just like if you have one situation, we have a situation where part teachers come up and then say things not right, we hear them. We understand the importance of these people. We understand and respect the contribution, and we understand how important it is for them to be okay. Just by their sheer numbers. I mean, we can think about, our sugarcane farmers in the north and the challenges that they've been through, the struggle, the fight, the long struggles and fight that culminated in this year now, that they've had a commission of inquiry to find out about the agreement to make sure that everything get right. We have to hear them. So consistent with our record and our resume, the fisher folk then says something not right. And when it is said not right, fundamental to when it is said not right, is that the regulatory body, which is the fisheries department, not to be upfront and not to be truthful. And what they not to be truthful about? They not to be truthful about the state of the fishery stock in our water. No, you could say, okay, well, if the fisheries people know more than the fishers, because you would assume that the regulatory body, when they proclaim certain things, be based on what they feel, but that they want to do the proper due diligence work as best they could to find out and monitor, evaluate, and have a certain position which will then guide policy and when they do and how they interact and the management of the resource and how they engage with the people and where they live this then everyday life. They say, okay, well, we hear fisheries say this and we hear the fisher folks say that, so we don't know who right. But what has happened for the past couple of weeks is that journalists who have their credibility have been spending 6 months, 9 months. In the case of Marco Lopez, he has been on this case now for longer than that, because before he did this investigative piece, he actually put out one article in the Mandala which the fisheries people then get very upset about. So now that's no longer just a matter of the fisheries department and the ministry versus the fisher folk. Journalists supported by Earth Journalism Network, which is a global institution, so they were able to get some support to spend more time, to go deeper. They have linked with global experts, and they have presented to us, the public, an independent evaluation of what that real. So this is what we will talk about now for over like 1 2 week period. We've had Marisol Amaya come on. We've had Marco Lopez come on, and there are other journalists who have written on the matter of the resources. So it's not just a matter of zinc-related journalists. When I say zinc-related, for those who don't know, that means Mandala, Creme Radio, XTV network. People refer to we as a zinc fence crowd. And if you don't know why that car we got, my big zinc fence will go wrong way. That way go wrong way. And you come on Free Street, just look for the biggest zinc fence and okay, that day one day. So they're not just because of that, You have other people who write on it, but the reality is that we have this work that has been done. And why is it important? Because usually, in the normal universe of things, that a regulatory body, they ring the alarm. They try message and communicate to the stakeholder. Listen, we have to do certain things because for we assessment they show that we have a crisis. But in this alternate universe, this alternate reality, the laws of physics no apply here. Gravity no exists. Up means down and down means up. The organization representing fishers has been the one speaking to the regulatory body to say, your data wrong. And the data where we convince right, the science that has been done here says that we are in critical danger. And you, regulatory body, have to change the song we are sing and mobilize to implement and address the crisis that is here. Because if we don't do that and we have a collapse of what is out there, that one great number of Belizean families will experience unimaginable hardship. We have a call. Krem, good morning, WUB.
Yes, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Very interesting conversation this morning. Yeah, it is true. The journalists, they're doing a very good job now on disclosing a lot of the things happening in our country. One of the things that I would appreciate they would start is holding these lawmakers and people accountable. I saw an interview, I think it was last week, with Mr. Bradley, speaking on the case of Mr. Elmerna. And to my surprise, his exact words were that there's a videotape that is supposed to be analyzed, and the law states that the government has to pay for this tape to be analyzed or scrutinized, whatever. It has to be done to make sure that it's clear or whatever, to see who's in the picture. Now, I'm thinking now that that is ensuring that we're making sure that whoever has been accused, just for instance, we're saying that he's innocent, that the government is going beyond to make sure that they clear him of his wrongdoing. But then there's the case of Mr. Orlando Castellanos, who there's also a surveillance camera showing a similar individual entering his property and murdering him. This is all in Belmopan. And to recount, it's John Ramnares, Vivian Ramnares, the brother-in-law Mikey. There's also Mr. Michael Williams, who when he was shot, two witnesses that witnessed it also got shot. Luckily they survived. No investigation into these people, what credibility they could give to whoever they saw coming out of that yard that murdered Mr. Williams. In the case of Mr. Orlando Castellanos, a video was given to the police, surveillance showing all this, but I don't hear the police saying they're going to use the government resources to see or try to discover who is in that frame. But in the case of Mr. Ahmad Farid, right, there's Miss Michelle Brown. How come the government not try bring she back, put she in a protective custody and get the true story? Because she did say something in court that everybody knows about. And the young man from Ladyville, I can't get this young man's name for some reason, but I wish one of these days he might have called into the show too, because she had gone on the news publicly stating certain information concerning her son's disappearance and who was involved. And the next day, or a couple of days, they found the young man here in Belmopan.
Yeah.
You understand that? Well, the young man had no connection to Belmopan. But my point is this morning that what I just gone over is more than 7 people dead. The 2 guys who survived, who were shot and lived. Not to mention the 4 guys on George Street that were murdered. Right? And all these, the same unit were involved. So my thing is that if we're going to pay tax dollars, and the government are going to use our tax dollars, let's do it to help clear up some of these cases with the people who innocently got killed. And now make we use the resources to try vindicate somebody who is accused. You understand me?
So
it can't be that we're so wrong, man, that
yeah.
this is like a desperation to me, the way how I see this case going, right? But I just hope everybody's paying attention and seeing and realizing, and even the journalists, because this story goes very deep, and if the journalists,
let me just cut in quickly before you roll on. Just say one is that I have to applaud you because you're consistent with making sure that, you know, if it's up to you, we don't forget about this case. I have supported and I have advocated for the use of cameras in a court, and you know, one of the most beautiful effort in for kind of stand up for a victim was the case of Laddie.
Yep.
So,
and I applauded that, and I congratulate them.
So Laddie, fortunately, was being raised by a family that has some resources, and so they were able to really strengthen the prosecution, and then they were also very proactive in promoting. I remember they used to have billboards up, Justice for Laddie. They had a Facebook. They were like on top of it, and every step of the way, the media was like, every day it was a thing when you had that court trial. I don't see that same level right now, but you are one of those consistent voices, at least in our neck of the woods, that really tries to refocus. And you know, when you see the caliber of the defense attorney that you know, this particular person, and this is justice, this is the way it works. It's you know, if me or you they're on trial for some crime, we have a right, and you know, the right thinking mind should do the very best to get the best possible attorney. You know, usually we'll be limited by resources for able to get, you know, you that call any elite senior counsel. Well, you know, this defendant is able to secure the talents of one of the premier attorneys in the country. So that means that, you know, and who the attorney matters. Like, it's just what it is. Like, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, not get determined based on, well, what is actually right or wrong, but it hinges on the quality of your attorney's performance as compared with the opposing attorney's performance. Attorneys matter. And that, again, they were part of this whole justice formula, so it's not like really lament an attorney participating in that. But from the standpoint of the community and the family and the state, if I say like, you know, we mean as sports. If I see my opponent bring in 1 7-footer, I have to figure out where be my response. Because I can't cry afterward. I have to fight right away. I have to respond right away. Now we hear about one level report. We have not, at least I have not heard we gone before. I think the last time we kind of bring in international experts would have been in the Danny Mason situation. But what we have here, I feel, is a situation where the stakes are high, and the game they play at one high level, and we have to they behind the state for not drop the ball. No make the verdict be based on the fact that your game never tight enough. Make the verdict be based on the fact that the evidence they point one different direction, but don't make the way outcome be because your game never get to the level of where you see the defense game they go. And I think so your call is important. You've been consistent. Respect.
You know, one thing was it looked to be our next year. This will happen tragically at the end of the year, coming on to the new year, and it traumatized all over the whole community, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the family, and I do what I do, not because I try, you know, be out there and say I do what I do. I do it wholesomely because I know that we can't be so wrong. I mean, the Father point, I believe the Almighty shows a lot of the facts about this case where we could seal it up. But the thing is, a lot of people in the community know what happened, and you know, they speak on it and what's not, but like you don't see the police and make the effort to try get the people to feel comfortable to disclose what they know and what's not, because of how they operate. If you know the basis, of the story, Mose, you know that part of John losing his life was because he was trying to be a good Samaritan. He disclosed something he knew to the police, and the police turned right round back saying who said what. So that's the basis of the story. The story goes very, very deep. So I want to challenge some of the journalists there for coming up and, you know, and actually get in the community and speak to some of the people there. And I don't tell you about, you have to go specifically to nobody. You could speak to everybody, but somehow either we know what happened, but like none of we are not liars to say, all right, let me go to court and let me be the prosecutor and point out this thing. And none of we, but there's information that could assist the prosecutors very greatly with this case. You understand? And not only this particular case, but like I said, the Fareed case where Michelle Brown involved, I can't, that's unbelievable to me that happened and played out the way it played out. Mm-hmm. We could have stopped all of this. Vivian, they could have been alive, John could have been alive, Mikey could have been alive, if we may put a stop to that from then. You know? So that's really why the man.
So one of the things where let me ask you this then, and I have to go to break, right? Because you obviously, I would say you know more about the details about this case. What I know is that I know about what happened. I've seen the video, and I know that this officer has been arrested and charged. I know very little other than that. I know that the case seems to hinge right now on the video of the shooting because there's no eyewitness. I know that there's rumors of different circumstantial things, some of the things you have described. But ultimately, I can't say here that I am absolutely 100% convinced of who has done what. So, you know, that's the difficulty, right? So the difficulty that to say that I 100% know. What I do know, what I'm 100% convinced of, is that this officer is not fit to be a law enforcement officer.
Not even free.
That's what I'm convinced of. But we have to, you're saying to me that you, based on things you know, which I might not know, that you are absolutely convinced that this is the person that did it.
And it's not only me, that's the part, That's the part. I doubt myself a lot of times because it seemed unbelievable.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like something you had to see on the television or a script.
Yeah.
You understand? But there was serious reality that it happened, and we see the shift. Now that he's out of the community, we see the shift with everything, all the youths and everybody, because we know, like I said, man, investigative work could give you a clearer picture of what was happening. Something came to a stop. You understand?
Yeah.
And people who acknowledge that and say, man, watch how things change, and certain people come out of position and certain people get incarcerated. You understand? So we understand what may happen. And much more than just our community. It frightened me now to know what all they used to do all over the country. You know? You got a lot of unsolved crime, and I know they say the whole department or that, but I'm saying, right, that while a lot of it unsolved because of the work or the way how they operate, you understand? So we left to depend on today credibility for get things, to get justice and satisfaction. But if people don't truly feel like when they get justice and satisfaction, it lead to something else. And we still in a very good country, man, you understand? But we need to get the people who we call law enforcement and the people who really represent you and make them be people of integrity. Make that be one of the credentials that you have to be somebody of integrity if you want to be that kind of thing there, because you have to pick a team and play hard. Either you're playing on one side, you're playing on the side of the law. And we see constantly where in many cases we get abused because we don't know lawyers, but on the end you end up understand what happened to make like cases like this one where I just fall apart. Everything today was just, it wasn't put together properly or better.
I think that integrity is a constant pursuit rather than like something you acquire and you have it forever. Kind of like how you have to get up the morning and bathe and put on the other one. Because if you stop for 2-3 days, you start smell. In fact, you stop for 1 day, you start smell different. So that like we have to promote integrity. We have to promote character hygiene as a way of life. If you understand that you have to be consistent and you have to constantly just engage in that consciousness. Like you can't just say, well, you have some people who have integrity and some people who don't, and that's the end of the story. I feel like the people who we look upon and regard as having integrity, they have developed a routine and a lifestyle of how they maintain themselves and they're consistent with character hygiene, and so they could keep with a bad sin. I think that's what we have to promote, especially in these areas where integrity matters so much. But I respect the call, and I would, and before you go, I will say that yes, we have admitted this. Like one of the things Marisol and myself spoke about, she did an article on one of the first article they did was to look at the exclusive economic zone and what's going on out there. This part of our resources where remains untapped, and in a way, we discussed it kind of parallels the fact that this kind of deep looking into is the untapped area for journalism in the country. So we are able to say when something happened, where everybody has the story about who shot. In fact, within 5 minutes of somebody being shot, everybody is going to have that story. It's going to be on Facebook and blah, 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 blah. It is the looking into things deeper where we are totally lacking, and it's the great it's the great undealt with duty that we have to figure a way to be able to achieve. So I accept what you've said. I accept your saying, listen, we need to approach so many other things with the kind of in-depth focus as what has, but then to make sure though that we don't squander when the work has been done. Like, we can't have the work being done, in this case the work has been done, and allow the authorities, allow the regulatory body to play like they're deaf and play like they know hear and they know see and they can't talk. Like, we can't accept that, because then it means, then so what is the value of the work if we are not going to stand on that work and say, no, when this comes forward, you can't play like you know see, you can't play like you know hear. You understand me, brother?
Yeah. Our end the call knows by saying, oh, we should start with that only the people will save the people.
100.
So if we know to think about save each other, man, I don't know where we have become, but I love my country and I love all of we. I know we love each other, but we just have to figure something out, you know?
Right? Give thanks, brother.
Good morning, brother.
Give thanks, brother. We go to Tools and Scams, sponsored by Fort Point Security. Then we take our first break of the morning. This is Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes, yeah?
So watching WB, and this is XTV, and now a big talking note a road about this hudut, and the picture want to can swim in there. But the original Garifuna people, the ancestors, they don't deal with that. Because they say pigtail, they'll go with hudut. Make I find out the two things. Say the pigtail, yeah?
I cook pigtail, but not for hudut. This I go with boiled egg and tomato sauce, but you know where this go with? Come here. This is how we go with pigtail.
Oh.
This go with pigtail. You split peas and dumpling and you stew beans.
So the 19.
This not going our hood. Look juicy and nice, but no good.
So the 19. Tell me what you want 19. You do it every 19.
Big thing. Tapo, bundiga, darasa, saho, cassava bread, fried fish, salt fish, everything you name it.
On the original day.
On the original day. Hudut eating contest.
And that year too. In a hudut.
Pigtail in a hudut? I don't know nothing about that, breads.
You don't eat hudut?
Yeah, I eat hudut, but I know
but you see some people, they put pigtail in and no.
Well, I will tell you what. People choose whatever they want, man.
Yeah. That's your 2 cents.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents. If they feel like put hudut in and stuff, that's for them.
You know that they're a part of the tradition?
I know that. I know that fish.
All right.
Right? So, it's up to them, whatever they want to put in and stuff, breads.
You're 2 cents. 2 cents question of the day. What do you think about people when they put hudut in a pigtail?
I mean pigtail in the hudut?
Pigtail in the hudut, yes.
I think that they broke the tradition of the Garifuna food. But if people want to eat it like that, then left them make it be, you know. You can't get back to them that they want.
You don't have hudut for sale. You don't have hudut for sale.
Well, I know I put pigtail in there. I know they broke or disrespect nobody tradition.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're 2 cents.
Yep.
What do you think about people when they put pigtail in a hudut? What are your 2 cents?
That never happen, man. What if you want it on the side, you could do that too, right? But to me, I don't know who did that, who did.
Yeah, you're 2 cents.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So you got a problem with the pigtail in that hudut?
I don't got a problem, but some people want to
You try it?
way. Yes, I tried it already.
And
it's good. I like my pigtail.
So you support it?
Yeah, I kind of support it, yes.
All right. Pigtail in a hudut. You don't cook hudut? Okay. You don't eat pigtail? All right. Good. If you know that, then you put pigtail in a hudut. I know that that's not the original way.
Yeah, that's not the original way. And we at Arana's Kitchen and an Arana's resident, we go the traditional way.
Yeah.
Pigtail is just a modern things for that the Creole or the other ethnic groups they want to add to the Garifuna Hudud.
That's your 2 cents.
That's my 2 cents.
And the 19th, the righteous, no?
The 19th, the righteous, on the 15th of November, there will be drummings here from 6 till 12.
Right.
And also the Gunani Dance Group, they will be having a fundraising concert at the Bliss on the 16th. $15 general admission.
That's your 2 cents.
That's my 2 cents.
All right. See? Pigtail in a hudud.
Pigtail in a hudud, that way you can afford. It's affordability.
But you don't got the fish.
It's affordability.
But you don't got the fish.
No worry about that. That's the part I too. You know, my days coming up as a Garifuna, my granny, my ma, yes, with us, the loan fish, right? But in the days back, I found born in the 60s.
Well, I got bad news to you.
I born in the 60s, right?
I got bad news to you. Can the Garifuna go? The ancestors there, they not there with that.
No, you
they say that start. Hear what they say. That don't mean so. They say that start down the Hopkins era.
If you could afford lab cyanide, you put it. Those are modern days. Those days are days of old when the ancestors they may use only fish. Now this is our whole new generation. If you could afford shrimp, you put it. If you could afford conch, you put it. If you could afford lobster, you put it.
You
right? With your fish.
Original tradition.
No, man. This is It's about affordability.
Well, I got bad news to you.
What are the bad news?
The Garina go and the ancestors there, they're happy with it.
They're happy with it because one thing, Padre, their main source, they like the pigtail. So Garina go that never refuse pigtail.
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Tuesday morning, the 12th November 2024. Mose Hyde hosting. Telephone number 280-5848. We're going to change directions a little bit this morning. So, you know what we've been talking about since we opened up for a conversation. We're going to do a little bit of hosting now we got guests in the house, very special guests. So we're going to go into that conversation. We're joined the CEO of Crossing the Gulf Ministries International, Bishop Rene Henderson, joins us along with Pastor Hyde King. We've got to say good morning and welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And I don't know, Bishop Henderson said to me about how nervous he is about coming on the show, and I tell him we're one thing with WB people. There is no reason to be nervous when you come on WB because, we people, we good people, and we comfortable, and we natural, and we don't worry about nothing, so we good. Especially when you come to describe works that have been done, great works. So tell me exactly what Crossing the Gulf Ministries International has been doing.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Mose, for having us and giving us this opportunity to be here with you, me and my partner, in the vision, Pastor Hyde King. And we feel it's a great privilege to be here to share with the viewers and with those that are listening some things that we believe will be a blessing, not to any particular interest group, will be a blessing to the nation. We have nations in crisis today, and there is an answer. There is an answer to whatever we are facing, and we are believing for the wisdom to be shared today that will answer a lot of things. Even the things you were sharing, I was listening earlier in there in the entrance as you were doing the first segment of the program. I was listening to some of the things you were saying, and I believe if we grasp a hold of these principles, we can resolve even those issues, with the police, with our government. We are not here to point the finger, criticize anybody, all right? Because we're not highlighting or are we biased, against or for any particular interest group. Yeah. We are here just on the basis of encouraging a people in a nation, all right? And what I guess where we can start is this. I was living in Houston, and Belize has always been a very special place, in my heart and in my family's heart. While I was living there for some 8 years, when I initially got to the States, there were a lot of people coming from Belize talking about, Belize gone to the dogs and they ain't no good and all the mess that's happening, and I didn't like that. So I asked them, I said, what are you doing to resolve what you criticize? And they shut up. Because I told them, if you're willing to criticize something, point the finger at something, right, then automatically you have a responsibility to do something about what you criticize. If you're not a part of the answer, shut up. Amen. And I tend to be somewhat direct. I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody. I try not to do that because there are already many walls of division that exist. And I'm not going to be part of reinforcing those walls or building other walls. We must tear down these walls so we can all realize we were designed to work together as a national family. Because only in unity and harmony and oneness, right, can we advance as a people. We're supposed to operate as one.
You don't seem nervous anymore.
We go to starting on this, and something kind of comes up inside of me. Yeah. And I want to say this in the beginning: the things I'm going to share, it's like gravity, Mose, right? There are in the I did a lot of science and stuff like that, and in the scientific world or the natural world, there are certain principles that are common to all men. Airplanes don't fly different in China than it flies in Belize. Now. In the same way, there are principles of the spirit, right, that are common to all men. I don't care if you're Chinese, African, white man, black man, different people call themselves different names today, right? There are common principles that work for all of us, and none of us can deny these absolutes. Because without absolutes, then life becomes chaotic. There's no measuring stick for what we do, how we think, and what we're going to do. So in discussing these things today, the only thing I'm going to ask, there may be some things that are said that are new, maybe you haven't heard it that way before. I just ask for an open mind, right? Because primarily, all our hearts are searching for truth. All of us want to know, why am I here? What is this all about? Right? All of us are also answering, how can we resolve the problems we face in our streets, for example? Because it's not particularly designed for a specific interest group. The problems we face, all of us are facing it. I don't care if you're in the government, I don't care if you went to school, didn't go to school, I don't care if you're a black man, Maya man, whatever. We're all facing these common issues today. But there is an answer to these things. And one of the things I learned from studying some things in the Second World War, General MacArthur, Germany tried to overcome the Allied forces by creating a bunch of different skirmishes, little fires here, little fires there, little fires here. And everybody thought initially that we got to put out this fire. The moment we try to put out this one, another fire shows up over here. If we keep running after the fires, right, around and around and around, trying to put them all out, we're going to wear ourselves out. There are always key issues to all these little things that are popping up all over the place. And if we can solve the key issue, right, we can solve all these things that will go away and we can win the war. What is the key issue? Right? And so that's why we're here. The overall thing is we are pursuing the redemption of Belize at all levels. All right? And to do it, I believe that we have all been highly intellectually trained. In fact, for the most part in life, we function out of our intellect. Right? That means our soul, our mind, our will, and emotions. And there are some belief systems that believe the highest level of development of man is the soul. Right? How we think. But the thing with the soul is, it's limited. We only know what we know based on what we have studied, researched, experienced. All right? In our head. Our soul is a combination of our mind, our will, and our emotions, or thinker, or chooser, and our feeler. And for the most part, right, because we've been more familiar with the physical world, the outside world, that we communicate with through our five physical senses that send information through those five sensory inputs to our soul, and that's all we've known. We've always been governing our lives based on what it looked like, what it feels like, what it tastes like. And a lot of times, it doesn't answer what actually is going on and resolve it. There's a deeper understanding, right?
So that's an intro.
Right.
One of the things that you've spoken to me about is work that you're actually doing, and I would like all listeners and viewers to be conscious of that, the work that you're doing with the intervention with youths that are in the street.
Right.
Could you describe that initiative for us and on what is involved?
Okay. A lot of the, I guess you want to say right now.
Go ahead. Before, yeah.
Okay. To resolve the situation we have in the streets with the youth, and that's what we are focusing right now, because that seems to be our largest problem. All the murders that are taking place, the devaluing of life, and different things like that. To resolve it, I believe, we cannot deal with the youth intellectually. We have to deal with them spiritually. We have to deal with their hearts. Because the real person is not what we see on the outside. We all know this body is just dirt. Right? The real person is the inside you cannot see that's keeping the outside functioning in this physical world. And so what we've been doing, we've been going into the neighborhoods, right, and developing a trust relationship with all these guys in the different hoods. What has been hurting the nation, we have division at all levels. That's the major issue. We're divided politically, we're divided educationally, we are divided economically, we are divided ethnically, we are divided at all levels. And it's the division that prevents the advancement of a nation. Well, one of the most serious areas of division is in our youth in the streets. You know, if we don't train up our children in where they should go when they get old, right? You know, they will not know the principles to live by. They will live by their smarts. And we see what the result of that is, right? They don't know the brother they're trying to kill is their brother, right? And we're supposed to be looking after each other, not destroying each other. So we've been going into the different neighborhoods. And by the way, we share some of these principles with LIU, right? And the day we went in there, they were searching for answers. We share these principles with a very key businessman. I don't want to call any names, you know. And the day we went to talk to him about these things, he got excited because he has certain contracts to fulfill, right? And he was told to use a certain group that he was not able to use, right? But we went in to tell him what we're working on. Okay, let's put it this way. I have been mentoring some of the major companies in the nation. I've been mentoring their employees because I'm saying to the business community, the key to profit is not the wonderful goods and services that you market in a community. The key to profit is the character of the people that make the company what it is. Because people are the key issue. If people didn't exist, we don't need government, we don't need education, media, whatever it is, right? The people are the value of all the physical things that exist in the world and in the universe. And so if we can improve the character of the people and show them how to work together as one, respecting, honoring, helping each other in the company, their profits are going to go through the roof. We do a one-year, pilot program on that, and every time as we mentor and work on the character of these people, and they start working together better, because if they don't work together as in harmony in a company, then you got management labor problems, union labor problems, all this kind of stuff that happens, and it costs money. It comes out of your profit. It's been successful every single time, and so. In the streets now with the gangs, we go into the different areas as a team. We're doing this as a team. This is no one-man thing. I'm not that smart. All right? I simply listen to the one that created us, because King Solomon said when he was dedicating the temple, God only knows the hearts of men. So how can I presume to try to control somebody else? I think I have the answers to everybody, and going there with this prepared stuff, thinking I can, I'm God to somebody in the neighborhood. No. I go to listen to them, to talk to them. What are their hurts? What are their feelings? What are they going through? Right? And when I become sensitive to them, because the power of communication is in the hearer, not the speaker. And so when I become sensitive to what they're going through, then I can discern what I can do to help them come out of it. So I don't know, at this juncture I probably can ask Pastor Hyde. I don't want to take over the whole show and say all of that. I will give his take, because he is part of a group that we call the Gathering of Eagles, who have a common vision to see our streets transformed. We're using the south side of the city as a pilot. That we know if we can succeed there, then we can take it to the whole nation and succeed there as well, right?
Yeah. So
Pastor King.
Yeah. One of the key component of this movement, I like to label it as a movement, because we're not keeping steady. We're actually moving. And so one of the key components, as Bishop Renner mentioned, is the people. And when we can reach the people on the key levels, right? The key levels is based on mainly building the character, building the person. Because I was sitting here and I said, man, Bishop Renner is saying everything. What can I add to this? But here's what I can really add to this. I am a result and a successful result of this same initiative. Before I even came on, God was working on me to be a part of this initiative. And I say I'm a successful result of this movement because of this thing. I know what it is to be on both sides of the coin. I was a police officer for 16 years. And I was a detainee or a remanded prisoner at the Central Prison for a year and about 2 months. Right? And so that turn in my life made me able to see, you know, what the people I have been serving in one component was going through, but it gave me an avenue to serve in another component. And I'm not saying that it.
So what do the youths that you encounter in the streets feel, or what do they say to you when you tell them your story? What do they say to you?
Well, what they say to me is one of the things that a lot of you always ask. How did you get through this? How did you manage to come out and still not be angry with the world? How did you manage to come out and still not want to take revenge because of something? And one thing I can tell them is that it's not by my power, it's not by my might, nor by intellect. I had to seek a power greater than myself so that I was able to stand in good character and actually be a voice to say that there is a better way. And there is a better way for you to come out with a better character. Not being angry, not holding resentment, not being unforgiving, and thereby not wanting to be able to say, all right, well, I'm going to take matters into my own hand and give myself justice. Because when we try to give ourselves justice, it lands us in hot water every single time. We may not be caught by the law, but there is a law that governs the universe and everyone. And that law we cannot escape. And that is the law of God. And so,
which is the law of love.
Right.
And which is the foundation of what we're doing, Mose.
Right. And so what they're going to benefit from this is that on the 15th to the 17th, we are having a retreat in Crooked Tree at the facility. Mm-hmm. And this aims at the character building of the person. And that character is deep from the spiritual aspect. And when we take care of that, because one thing I'm big on the scriptures because I know what it did for me. I can say that it is true because it has stood in my life over and over and over again. And one of the things we cannot escape is what Proverbs says, that there is a way that seemeth right unto man, but in the end there is death. But there's also a flip side to that, right? And a lot of us in Belize, and if not all of us in Belize, have some kind of Christian background growing up, and we have learned this one verse from very little, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. But we don't understand the giving, because the giving is of love, and that love was of himself. And that's what this initiative is geared towards, to build the character of the person. After the retreat, there is a mentorship program for continued progress where that is concerned. And that would spark a very, very different movement in our society at large and how we communicate with each other, resulting in the building of the nation. Not just the redemption, but there is a rebuilding of the nation.
And it involves, and what we'll do, I believe, I'll give an example. One of the, if I will call some names, you don't call names here. Yeah. But if I call some names, well-known names, you would be amazed at the response we've been getting from this one group. And we've been getting the same response from all the groups, right? We went, Brother Gansi is a part of the movement. We have a whole team. We go around together to all the different areas. And we have a trust factor with all the different areas on the south side and some on the north side. The first one we went to, we started sharing these principles. And we will always begin with telling them who you really are. What is your true identity? Right? Because we do everything from how we see ourselves. Right? If we don't know who we really are, the whole world will come along and tell us who we are, who we're not, well, actually who we're not, and we're going to believe it. And if we believe something wrong about ourselves, then what we're going to produce in our lives is something wrong. But if we believe and go back to the origin, which can only be revealed by the one that created us, because we don't know anything about ourselves of our own. We have to go back to the origin and find out what was his intent, right? And he is, when he made us. right? And so we started dealing with the character. We started telling them who they really are, and who they are is exactly who the Creator is, because every one of us were created in His image and likeness. We all have these same basic characteristics in all of us, in our spirit.
That's right.
Right? And I told the guys, I said, look, if we can work, right now you're very highly developed in your intellect, you know, and you're basically, without the spirit functioning, and you're dealing with your intellect, what's driving you first is your emotions. You're making emotional decisions. And that's why we have the retaliation and these things going on. I said, but wisdom is the principal thing. King Solomon said that in the book of Proverbs, right? 4:7. And he said, and without wisdom, intellect is without a governor. It takes the wisdom, which is complete knowledge from the Creator that created the whole universe, to guide the things men are learning in the physical environment. Okay, it's like Einstein, right? He gave us the theory of relativity, where we were able to split the atom, you know, and produce atomic energy. If you have wisdom, wisdom first of all highlights the development of people. And wisdom comes from the heart. You can't find wisdom in an educational institution. You only find knowledge in an educational institution. Right? Now, with the wisdom, it gives you heart. Right? When you have that heart, you recognize, first of all, that I'm not an island. Right? You first of all understand the foundation of life is that I don't have love, I am love. And so the moment I decide to do something that's crosswise of who I am, I self-destruct. It's like a chainsaw, right? You don't use in natural. We don't use the chainsaw to drive the nail and the hammer to cut down the pine tree, right? You hit that. That's everybody knows that's ridiculous. Well, similarly, we don't use ourselves for things we were not designed for. We have a purpose. And the purpose of love, and only love can resolve. Only love can serve and build and generate oneness. When you love something, you're drawn to it, you're not pushed away from it. And only love can resolve the spirit of division, which is what all of us are facing in our nation, that's destroying our nation and killing our young people. Right? So we share these things with them, and we told them, you can succeed. Anybody can succeed in life. The greatest distance between failure and success is 18 inches. It's the average distance from the human head to the human heart. And most of us are highly trained intellectually, but we're not trained spiritually. We are very well nourished in the physical, but we are malnourished in the spiritual. And so with Einstein, if you have the love that only comes from heaven, right? Realizing that when the Father said, as Pastor mentioned, for He so loved the world, He loves everybody, whatever we call ourselves right now, He loves all of us. He's never the condemner. He's not condemning any of us, right? All He wants us to know is the absolute truth of all existence and eternity. And so if we have that wisdom, right, then we do radiology in the medical profession. We generate atomic engines that drive spaceship into space to do the research and discover what we have been designed to rule over and dominate. The whole universe is our home. We will populate the stars, man. You know, but we have to begin with Earth. Earth is the prototype. If we can make it happen on Earth, how can we make it happen in the universe? And that's how big we have to think. Right? And so if we have the wisdom, we have the love. And if love is governing our decisions that we make intellectually, our decisions will serve, will bless, and will enhance another human being. Mm-hmm. But if we have the intellect, but we don't have the wisdom, what we end up doing, the same technology, atomic energy, we end up building bombs to blow up people that don't think like us. Amen? And I won't call their names or the nations. It's happening in the world today. And so in sharing this with the guys, right, there were about 18 of them in one of the tough neighborhoods, right? And so I said, look, all we want to do, and I said, we need you. We need you because we need to turn our nation around. Right? And so we share these principles of who they were. You are love. You are a spirit. There's a world that you can't see with your physical eyes that's governing the world you can see with your physical eyes. This body is not you that you can see. That's just dirt. That's just your earth suit. Amen. You're a spiritual astronaut. Maybe you know anything about NASA. He takes men and he put them on the moon.
You're quite a speaker, Bishop Henderson. An interesting description of the approach and what is being presented.
But can I give you the response from the guys?
I'm very interested.
That's what I want.
Yes.
So it didn't take long. It took about 15 minutes, right? A couple of the guys started crying. Now, these are guys that hold the peace, you know? All right? They started crying. They said, man, he said, I don't know what's happening, man. He said, something is touching me on the inside. He said, I don't know all that this is. He said, but why didn't somebody teach us this when we were younger? And we told him, I said, look, we told them you're being touched by the unseen world. You're being touched by what you've never known anything about, right? And this goes for everybody on the face of this earth. Because this problem of the battle between the seen and the unseen goes all the way back to the origin of man. From the garden. There were two trees in that garden. The tree of life and the tree of wisdom and the tree of knowledge. He said all the trees in the garden are good for food. But he said, I don't want you to eat of the tree of knowledge. No. The creator is not schizophrenic. Right? He's not going to tell you all the tree in the gardens are good for food, but I don't want you to eat this one. No, he intended for you to eat it, but in proper order. When we exalt knowledge over wisdom, we become self-destructive. When we exalt wisdom over knowledge, we become constructive in our environment. And so these guys, right, we told them what we want to do for them. We said, look, this is just the beginning. We will stick with you till you are successful in life. And so we told them about the retreat center that Pastor King mentioned. And then we had to use it for a little while. It needed some painting up and stuff like that. So we asked them if they would be prepared to go with us, right?
So let me just say this, that people who are familiar with my approach on the WUB, this format, that I've always been very, I'm not somebody that will have religious discussions. So I don't engage in having, talking about this religion or that religion, and I respect people's religious views and what they believe. I treat it with respect.
Exactly.
But I also know, as you have so accurately stated, that we are extremely divided, and reality is that religion is one of those things that
have divided us,
that we are divided by.
Yes.
And so there are many ways and many channels for people to engage in their processes of faith and belief and religion, but I've been very uninterested in facilitating a lot of that. Yeah. But why I'm absolutely comfortable with inviting you is that I fundamentally have to respect the fact that you have gone into the streets. You've gone at ground level and gone and met our brothers and sisters in their home, on their territory, on their field, and engaged them there. And that for me is fundamentally beautiful, because whatever somebody might think of your beliefs and your view and your faith, nobody can throw a stone at the fact that you have that conviction and that courage and the humility to go before, and it's such a gesture of immense respect. Like to tell somebody to come and see you, even if you have something to give them, is decent, but to go to someone, go where they are, engage. You don't know what response you would have gotten. You don't. There's a considerable number of possible outcomes, and some of them downright unpleasant. And you have to be willing to take that walk and to run that risk and take that leap and to have a belief. I will engage, and I feel very confident that the response is going to be one that is affirming, one that is positive, and one that has the impact that I desire. So I just want to say that I respect that approach that you've taken, that you've gone into the streets, you've gone into these neighborhoods, and you have engaged on a level that shows fundamentally a respect for the human beings that they are.
That's what I want to put like close of loose ends, what you said just now. Because Mose, we're not against any other form. We cannot. The definition of witchcraft is to manipulate another person's will. I don't discard, we don't discard, and it's a we, not an I, forgive me. We don't discard anybody, right? We reach out to everybody. I don't care if they call themselves Muslim or Buddhist or whatever, or atheist. We reach out to everybody because we don't see those labels. We see people. We see people that have issues that need to be resolved.
That's right.
Right? Now, I may be a son of God. I may be a Christian, which I was not before, because I come from a very radical background. Right? But I reach out trying to get everybody to understand it takes all of us to be a nation. And the more harmoniously and synergistically all of us can work together as one, we can see Belize become the paradise, a paradise.
Let me take this call before we go off. Krem, good morning, WUB.
Brother Mose.
Yes, sir.
Why, I'm begging a favor, sir. You know, when you have our favorite radio station, they'll call everybody and then they ban you, they block you, they I'll call back to go to radio.
Oh, so either just we will call him. You know they treat me as, right?
And the crazy goes on, boy.
You got me like like you take me for granted, you take me for fool, you know.
No, but I know the talk about that.
You got me like spare tire now.
Most I don't want to talk about that this body.
But
I don't like when they do it big. I just tell you, I don't want to speak about it. I want to speak about bright and beautiful things. The king does not want to hear about that today.
Okay.
You know? But more what I want to talk about this morning.
But the problem with you now, where they go on right now, Kalimo, is that it's not ideal for you to listen to the show where you're going from. You still don't listen to my show, so you don't know where they talk about. You don't know when I have one guest. Every time for about 2 weeks now, every time you call, I don't have to tell you, boy, you have to link me back. Because you don't know that I have guests. And the only reason you don't know that I have guests is because you can't stop listening to the people anyway.
Actually, no, Mose is not that.
What is it?
I'll tell you why I can't know when you have a guest.
Why?
I could go to Love FM. I can try this XTV to find new live. But all I get is fast shows and the singing. I never see the show live.
I don't understand how, of all persons from planet Earth, you to tell me that you can't get weep on YouTube. You to tell me that
XTV and I'm watching. You see what happens when I press XTV? You don't think. Well, let I do it. You talk about that. Let me try it then.
I don't buy an excuse because everybody will try get we. So what it go on with you is that they try 2 times and they try serve 2 masters, bishop and pastor, and that no work out. So that what catch you, but I call it more with due respect. My bedroom. Anyway, make we take a break and come back.
Sure.
In Belize, diversity is our strength. From the vibrant streets of Corozal to the serene beauty of Punta Gorda, and from the charming town of Benque to the breathtaking views of Half Moon Key. We are a tapestry of cultures, traditions, and perspectives. But amidst our differences, there's one thing that unites us all, that defines the essence of Belizean identity. Our love for this land and sea we call home. Our Belize Barrier Reef is more than just a natural wonder. It's the lifeblood of our nation, the foundation of our culture, and the backbone of our economy. Every lobster caught, every conch harvested, every tourist enchanted, every investor satisfied, every proud homeowner, and every taxpayer, they all depend on the health and vitality
back. WUB Wake Morning Vibes. Mose, Hyde in the house with you this morning. We don't have a lot of live talk time remaining as we have kind of pushed back on our break. So I'll give our guests since 8 o'clock opportunity to kind of put a wrap. It's on. I don't know what you're telling me. It's on. Check. Mic check. Mic check. Audio check 1. Audio check. Audio. Sorry about that. Had a little audio gap there. So we don't have a lot of time remaining. We're just going to ask our guest, Bishop Brennan Henderson, and he's the CEO of Crossing Gulf Ministries International, and Pastor Hyde, who's been our guest since 8 o'clock, just to kind of put a wrap on this conversation.
Pastor King. So I just want to give one other tangible thing that comes out of this initiative, and it's based on something that I currently am experiencing myself. And this is where the initiative between the businesses and their importance in this initiative, especially. You know that there's a stigmatism in our country when someone has a police record with certain things. It's hard to get active work, you know, and even though you might have certain skill set that really does mean something, and it does allow you to be an asset, that stigmatism is still there because the police record overshadows the skill set that you have. And that's one of the one important area that this initiative is targeting, along with the businesses, that, you know, when we come with these guys and everyone and this character building is happening, we are able to market them to the businesses with an understanding that, hey, these guys has went through this program. These guys are still developing. We are still at a place where a human being will not stop developing or learning until the day they take their last breath. And so we come to this place that where we can vouch that this person, because they have gone through this program, they have benefited a lot from this program, and there is a change, not just intellectually, but also spiritually, that there is a change, and there is a place for that person in the society, in the business world on a whole. Because a lot of these guys, they are intellectually good.
Yes, they are.
They are good. Some of them are engineers, some of them are, you know, electricians and carpenters and these things like that, who can actually contribute to the society. But because of that stigmatism, that has been a barrier and a wall that has been placed up for so long. And so that is one of the things that this initiative is targeting as well.
All right. And the close on very quickly, what we're trying to do with this is that not only meet their character development needs, but meet their physical needs. They've got families. So we're trying to make them become a positive contributor to the society at large. Right?
All right. We have to have you back again, but for those who want to find out more about the initiative that you are a part of and really organizing, how can I reach
you? You can Pastor Hyde, you can give your number.
Yes, my number is 651-2711. You can reach me on that anytime.
And mine is 670-7283. And the email, if you want to email me, is renebarbarah@yahoo.com.
Even if they had a pen, you just have to rewind the show on social media and get that part and get the information. Because I got to go to final break. I got to thank you both for being here. It wasn't a final break. I have a whole. Thank you both for being here, and hopefully we have you again and we can kind of engage a little bit more.
Yeah. And we can come and give you an update on what's been happening for the community. For the
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Mose.
Conozcan a Chris.
All right, welcome back, Belize. We got to leave you now with our last break. I want to thank you for being here with us with Health and Strength. We're going to come back tomorrow morning, 6:30 for the Wednesday edition of WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's been a pleasure. I'm Mose Hyde. Have a great Tuesday. Salute to the crew, of course, Larry G, Crime Radio, the glue at XTV, Mr. Cliff Lewis, our control room boss this morning, Alexi Belide. For now, stand strong, stand firm. We're gone!
Wake up!
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards.